the expectation would be that people will do the foundation still. That's still going to exist. So you do a foundation, then to move on to DCATs, you would look at doing the core skills as a portfolio in its own right, and then augmenting that with metrology, food, safety, whatever ones are deemed to have extra skills involved in terms of examination or sampling or whatever. Presumably those portfolios, for one of the modules, that don't have anything up over and above the core skills, and really you're only looking at knowledge. I'm not going to preempt what any of those might be. You would just do the exam, so you prove your knowledge. Then you don't have to do a portfolio to go with it.
That's correct. Yeah, the whole idea of this is to cut out all the repetition, and the other issue is with the foundation portfolio, there was repetition with that in the service delivery modules as well. In the portfolio is there, so we're wanting to get rid of that repetition, so that a person doesn't have to keep on proving certain skills over again.
So if I was a candidate,
yeah,
and I did core skills. And decided that I wanted to do, let's say for example, the fair trade and criminal module, and it was decided that there were, over and above the core skills, there were no other skills involved in that. I do the fair trade criminal exam, that gives me my 10 points towards my DCAT.
That's right, and if you're only going to do the fair trading criminal module, then you could actually, you'd have to complete the core skills portfolio within that fair trading criminal.
And that would then give me...
that would give you the modular certificate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the idea. But what it means then is, if you then go on to move on to the metrology, you wouldn't have to do the core skills again. Core skills, probably. You would only do the specific, portfolio regarding the metrology issue. So the testing of equipment. Yeah. So you can see where we've got to. We've tried to cut out all that repetition that was in there before. It was in there for a reason, you know, as we know. But that's what we're trying to get out.
It's more than
there a risk that people think, right, well, I'm just going to pick all the ones that only have core skills, and then you lose knowledge in, say, areas like metrology, which perhaps are going to require more work, and people might start thinking, well, actually, I can get through it much quicker if I just pick. Are you going to kind of then distinguish at all and say, right, well, you need one, or to be fully qualified, you would need metrology or food, or, you know, kind of...
Well, this is what we tried before. That's why we have so much repetition in the portfolios, because we wanted to make sure that each portfolio was the same size. And we've got where we are now, where we are repeating. So that the issue will be is, no, we can't, we're not going to control that. If a person wants to do the service delivery modules that don't have any extra specific skils, then that's for them to do that. But it's whether that fits in with their service, their authority.
Very happy people telling me what they want to do.
And then if a candidate is doing it on their own behalf, then they've got to think about the employability of it in the future. What we didn't want to do is to stipulate to authorities, you know, core modules that you have to do, because, you know, the differences, but, you know, it depends on what the service requires, and also not all authorities deliver all modules, and there is not a requirement for them to deliver all modules. So it is up to the authority to deliver that. I think if a candidate is doing something on their own, they need to work within this qualification to make sure that they're as employable as possible. For the service, who in most cases is paying for the qualifications, they need to consider what the requirement is for their service, and that is why this qualifications was put forward.
We're looking to move away from the point system, because if you've done that bit, then that can be added to any of the other bits. So you get the, you know, it doesn't stand alone in terms of a qualification. It's saying that if you've done that, you've demonstrated the skills you needed to deliver metrology, fair trading, civil, fair trading, criminal, food, and so on. It's a proof of competence in any of the areas. So we're trying to move away from the point system to say, actually, no, what we want is just proof that you are competent to deliver a certain aspect of the service at a certain level. And yeah, there are issues around what people trying to choose the easiest route through it to get somewhere. That's always been the case. There were some suspicions if we had a petroleum module, people would do that and get 10 points. This is about proving competence and making sure employers can use it in a way they want. So if you want, if you need more people doing weights and measures, this provides, if you've done the core skills, an easier route than we've had in the past to put some more resources into weights and measures or food or whatever. It's about the employers managing their workforce, and that's going to be an increasing issue, it seems to me, in terms of the skills they need of the individuals on a generalist basis.
We are trying to put frequently asked questions on our website. So we're building up questions like you've just asked, so that we can point to people. But what we'll do is, as we get more questions in, we will build this up, and hopefully, in the end, with the work with the EVs, I'm sure they'll be helping out on Monday. Questions that we can put up there so that the answers are available. But also, there's the team here that will be able to take emails and calls in the future. Right, okay. Well, it's not a separate portfolio. There's not a separate portfolio for foundation, there's going to be one core skills portfolio.
Which includes the foundation?
Yes, which includes which includes all the previous foundations. Because that, again, was repetition. What you saw was people...
Absolutely, but you didn't actually say that.
Right, apologies for that.
That's not what you said 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago you said you would do the foundation, then you do your core skills, and you top that up with your service delivery skills.
Apologies, sorry.
So there's
an outline for us.
Yes.
The actual hierarchy.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking it now at a foundation level.
Yeah.
There'll be the knowledge exams.
That's right, yes.
And a portfolio, which is now called core skills.
That's it, yes.
And having completely read through it, it includes everything that used to be in the foundation plus some.
Yes, yes, yes.
There's a question.
Specific skills.
Yeah.
It is in fact a higher foundation than the old foundation.
So basically, to get a certificate in foundation, the Foundation Consumer Affairs and Training Standards, you'll have to do set the examinations for the foundation and then achieve the core skills. Yes. And you don't, and the other thing is that doesn't need to be linked necessarily to a service delivery module, because we've opened that up because, from consultation, we're finding that lots of officers just do underage sales or road traffic. And that is not in the service delivery module, so it would be very difficult for them not to achieve that. So you're able to use the skills that you've got in those areas to be able to achieve that portfolio. So to get the certificate in foundation in the future, it's the exams and the core skills portfolio. To get the DCATs, you'd have to get the foundation, the core skills, and at least 4 of the service delivery modules.
I'm sorry, you're confusing the issue again, because you're talking about doing a foundation and core skills again.
Why don't you just call it foundation exams?
Well,
Foundation.
additional, yeah.
Sorry, Bill.
Yeah.
Just so I get this right, when you sit your 3 foundation papers, and you sit the core skills portfolio, do you complete that in its entirety for foundation, or is there a certain amount of the skills that you need to complete for the portfolio?
No, if you want the FCATs, you have to complete the whole.
So when you completed the whole portfolio and then you want to go on to modules, there's no more portfolio to do unless you're going to do the specific ones.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
So by the time you've done, if you're going for the whole diploma via FCATs, by the time you've done your foundation papers and your core skills, when you move on to your modules, there's no more portfolio to do unless you want to do the specifics.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Advising John, you will hit every one of those things. And if you need to do an extra paper because you want to bring some of the rest of them in, then bring it in by exam. Because core skills is a thing that is so subjective. You would have to have an agreed objective standard for everybody. Let them set examination on it. Because to try and do it and to sort of fill in workbooks and to I keep calling them that because what they once upon a time were, but to try to find, provide evidence seems to be not the way to go. We ought to be concentrating on the specific skills so that we actually can say to somebody, today you are learning how to do this to a weighbridge, today you are learning how to do a food sample in relation to the core skills that is running right through the rest of your career, and you will be examined in that and you will be given a certificate in that and not a sort of a continual ongoing assessment.
You can't do an examination, well, you could, but it's really difficult to do an examination on your verbal communication skills.
I'd say it wouldn't be too difficult if you asked to read and respond.
I mean, it is, if I can just come in here, I mean, it is something we've considered, and we talked about, I mean, what's important here is the future, and we want people not only who are well versed in what the law says, but can deliver it, can respond to council's needs and deliver projects and what have you. The point being is that we think the supervisors, the assessors, are best placed to judge whether somebody can handle a confrontational situation, whether somebody can take a really complex situation and write a letter, whether somebody can give advice face-to-face under pressure. We can't recreate that in a classroom scenario. We could try and have a verbal assessment, but we think the best place is the people in the councils locally who know these people well. So I think the majority of people we've talked to are with our way of thinking in terms of that needs to stay with the assessment environment, the council environment that they work within. So that's why we think that this is not something we can do by examination.
Certainly the advice we got in the initial stages, because this was a suggestion, was that role play wouldn't be valid in terms of providing evidence for a qualification of this nature. It needed to be demonstrated in the workplace, and that was what the universities were saying to us. They can teach the law, they can teach some of the specific stuff, but assessment of competence in terms of skill can only be done in the workplace, which is where we need to get the employers engaged in that process and make sure that they understand that. So we're the sort of thing that we in an authority ought to be doing anyway when you get somebody new into the job. It's about mentoring them to start with, it's about watching what they do, it's about going out with other officers to see how they did it, then handing over to them. That's the process that I was looking at in terms of formalising it.